police and law enforcement presence right here in this active shooter investigation. And as we get more information here, the shelter-in-place order went out probably just a few minutes ago since I first got this information. We have our content center right now making calls and trying to get to the bottom of just how many people might have been shot in this situation. You know, unfortunately, mass shootings in our society seem to happen far too often, and we are not saying that this is one of those right now, but we do want to keep you informed on what's going on. Now, traffic is blocked off here in the Midtown Atlanta area at 110 West Peach Street and around 12th Street, and it looks like it's going to be that way for a while. A recap of what we know right now: a shelter-in-place order has been issued for the area around 110 West Peachtree Street and 12th Street. We know that multiple people have been shot, and the building that we're looking at is Northside Hospital Midtown. Northside Hospital Midtown is the building that we are looking at right now. A shelter-in-place order has been put into place right here. Authorities are moving around. You see some with weapons right there on their shoulders as we give you a view of that building. And, you know, just like most days are, it was a normal day. And then you hear about this happening, and it makes you stop and it makes you pause, because it's just something that unfortunately people are concerned about. And these situations are happening, unfortunately, more and more. To keep you up to speed on what's happening right now, in case you are just tuning in, Channel 2 Action News is following an active shooter situation in Midtown Atlanta. Emergency vehicles, massive police presence there at the scene, and what we know so far is that multiple people have been shot in the situation. We do not know their conditions. We're actively working to find out their conditions right now. And as I'm talking to you, Channel 2 Action News employee, one of our senior members here in our newsroom, Joe Cowan, was actually nearby the area. Joe, I believe you're on the phone right now, right?
That's right, Fred.
Joe, what can you tell us about what we're seeing right here? We see the massive police presence. We see the fire crews and Atlanta police. What can you tell us from where you were?
Well, it's really, I can tell you what I see, Fred. I don't have a lot of information just because I'm in a building down here, but I'm near 14th and Peachtree, and I can see several heavily armed officers walking across the street. There are dozens of police cars lining the street down here. I'm right across from the town of the building is the One Medical. Emory is what it says on the side of the building there. I see people on their balconies trying to see what's going on above the street, and there are dozens of officers and heavily armed officers in protective gear kind of gathered right there at 14th and Peachtree. The road is obviously blocked, and I can just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'd say 15, 20 police cars down here. I see fire trucks, emergency vehicles as well, some heavily armed officers running across the street right now. I can see from this view kind of above the scene. I've seen a couple people taken out on stretchers, taken to some ambulances kind of below us here. Obviously, no word on how those people are or what their injuries may be, but we have seen that as well. And I believe we were told that in our current location that this building was on lockdown that we are in. That's secondhand knowledge from someone told me that came up and said, so I don't have that directly from the people in charge of this building, but that's what I was told. And I see 4 or 5 more officers walking down the street kind of towards this way down here. A line of motorcycle officers just arriving right now. I would say 7, 8 of those just drove up to the same area where most of the police are gathering at this moment.
So right now you're seeing what I'm seeing right here, Joe, and you mentioned that the police presence right there. You saw people being taken out on stretchers a short while ago as well, and you get the idea. They're focusing on that one building there, the Northside Medical Building there at 1110 West Peachtree right there. What is the mood outside? It looks like people are staged right where they want them to be. Authorities, I don't see a ton of people running around frantically at this moment. Can you kind of give us the mood and the feeling where you are?
Sure thing. I'm kind of above, looking down from a higher floor, and I do see a few people walking around. Obviously, they're walking away from what's happening, which I think is certainly the wise decision there.
Yeah.
I just see a couple other people kind of milling around, walking, but it doesn't seem to be tremendously busy, which obviously is certainly a good thing. Everyone, I think they're asking people to stay inside, from what I understand. Again, that's just what I've heard. That's not from an official source, so if that's not correct, please correct me. But most folks down here seem to be listening to that, just from what I'm seeing here from 20 stories up or so, seeing what's going on down there. And yeah, these police, I mean, I'm sure you can see it if News Driver 2's up, but they're just lines down this street here.
Joe, thank you very much. Stay safe where you are, my friend. We'll check back with you shortly.